everyone, and welcome to Atomic Thoughts, where we sit and we talk about my thoughts. Today, I wanted to have a face-to-face conversation with you all. I feel like it's been way too long since you guys have seen me talking, and so I definitely wanted to have a conversation with you all today. So please sit back, relax, sip your coffee, drink your tea, light up a spliff, and let's have a conversation. Not too long ago, a good friend of mine had reached out to me after seeing me post this Baddie's bingo card that I made for me and my friends because we watch Baddies in our Discord. And she was like, I never would have thought you would be the type of person to watch Baddies. And I agreed with her. I mean, honestly, for a very long time, I was avidly against Zeus Network and anything that had to do with Lemuel Palmer. I just could not imagine myself sitting there and watching Baddies. I felt like Natalie Nunn was doing such a disservice to the Black community. And do I still feel that way in some regards? Yes, I do. But a lot of that played into respectability politics, right? And as I sat and watched almost all of the seasons of Baddies and some other Zeus Network productions, I have come to realize that I am no longer playing into respectability politics. And I wanted to have a conversation about that because I feel like this is a conversation that is brought up a lot about the respectability politics and about Zeus Network. But I feel like a majority of the time people are on the side of respectability politics. And as somebody who played into respectability politics majority of my life, I feel like this is a new change and definitely time for a conversation. Respectability politics have been in play in Black culture since the beginning of chattel slavery, right? You know, we have been forced over here to the West and living in countries that we did not originate from, where we literally were brought here to build up the country and were used by white Americans. And so respectability politics has always been a major role in Black society, right? From your Uncle Toms and, you know, people shucking and jiving for the white man in order to be out of the way of danger, to now, you know, respectability politics being played to show the difference between the elite Blacks and everybody else, right? And so we always try to disassociate ourselves with Black people who do not fit into the respectability politics, who do not fit into white society. And I feel like that is a conversation that we need to have as a Black community, because we have seen respectability politics play throughout our existence here on, you know, in the Americas, and yet, you know, we have not seen any results, anything that shows us that our respectability politics have brought us into safer places. And so when it comes to Baddies and everything, when my friend had reached out to me and asked me, like, what made you start watching Baddies? You know, I started watching Baddies because my friend had brought it up at one point in time. She watches Zeus Network. And so we kind of dabbled in a couple of episodes, and there were a lot of the cast members that I ended up actually really enjoying. There's cast members who I disliked and didn't want anything to do with, but like, I remember growing up and watching Bad Girls Club with my cousin, and me and my cousin playing Bad Girls Club. So, you know, the respectability politics of that is Bad Girls Club was seemingly more white. There was more white women. It was ran by a white network. It was ran differently, and it was different, but at the same time, it was a whole bunch of girls, 20-somethings, living in a house together, fighting, and going out and having a good time, getting drunk. And so it's like, what's the real difference between Bad Girls Club and Baddies? Is that, like, they let them fight more, and that majority of them are Black people, and it's on a Black network? And we'll get to Zeus later. But, you know, the respectability politics comes into that because, God forbid, Black women go on a show where they have to fight and they get drunk and they do stupid shit all the time. I mean, that's the reality of a lot of people's lives. They fight, they get drunk, and they do stupid shit. Whether you're black, white, native, Chinese, Mexican, you know, whatever, we all have people like that in our communities. So why should we play respectability politics when it comes to their existence within our communities? Another thing is that respectability politics don't work when respect doesn't work the other way around. I mean, how am I going to work so hard to be respected by people who don't give a fuck about respecting me? So why would I want these women who are making money to put food on their fucking tables for themselves, for their family, for their children? Why should I be upset with them getting money by fighting and selling coochie, when there are people who are doing things that are a billion times worse than that? How am I gonna be mad at a young hoe for going and getting their money when there are billionaires that are literally killing us and the world and don't give a fuck about us? How does that work? So, you know, respectability politics are bullshit in my opinion, and I feel as if we need to stop placating white people. We need to stop acting like black people existing in the world, whether they're existing in the best way possible or in the worst way possible, that they don't exist. We're not a monolith. One black person does not mean everything for every other black person in the world. Now, white people will try to make it seem as if that's the case, but in reality, we know it. We've met so many of us. We've met black people of all shades and hues, all backgrounds, different people. We are all different people who have gone through different circumstances within the same system, right? But in reality, it's like we can't blame one another. We can't blame respectability politics for the reasons why we're treated this way. We need to blame the whites. Hello. And so I'm no longer placating that. Now, do I think that Lemmy is a fucking loser? Yes. And I do not like Lemuel Palmer. It's actually crazy that both of his parents are pastors. Well, it's not that crazy if you know anything about pastors' kids. But it is crazy that both of his parents are pastors, and yet he's living such an unrighteous life. And I thought it was so funny when Scotty with the Baby aired in the first episode, and they were at the baby shower, and Lemmy's parents were there, and his mom was like, you know, I'm gonna pray for everyone and whatever Zeus Network stands for, something like that. But Lemmy is a fucking loser, and we have seen that time and time again with how Zeus Network is ran. The fact that Lemmy stole it out of the hands of the other 3 people who funded and co-created Zeus Network, and yet gives them no money. They have to pay taxes on for Zeus, even though they don't make any revenue from Zeus. And Lemmy's out here buying all the Baddie's Birkin bags and chains and Coco Chanel and all of these different things. And so it's like, he's a terrible human being. But there are so many doors and opportunities that these women have been able to walk through because of the existence of Zeus Network. And I cannot be mad at them for taking a door that may seem like an easy door to walk through, but I mean, a lot of us wouldn't want to get beat up every day. I mean, shit, none of, like, these women on Zeus and on Now That's TV, and the men as well who are on Zeus, and the dolls. Shout out to the dolls on Now That's TV. I love y'all, except for Joyce. I do not like Joyce, but all the other dolls, I love y'all. But like, these people don't have opportunities open up for them. A lot of them, you know, tried to go the college route and didn't succeed in that. Knew that that wasn't the route that they wanted to go. Knew education wasn't going to work out for them. And it's like, yeah, y'all niggas gonna win and got a trade. Y'all gonna become hairstylists, cosmetologists, plumbers, and electricians, and HVAC technicians. But it's like, that's not the reality for everybody. Not everybody's good with their hands in that way. But sometimes you can put them dukes up, bitch, and you can squabble up on a bitch. And now you got $10,000 extra on top of all of the money that you're making, and you're going to bookings, you're getting drunk, you're hitting the clubs, people are screaming your name, I mean, people have gotten famous for worse, and we continue to perpetuate their fame. People have, done terrible shit, and people have perpetuated their fame. And so it's like, why are you mad at me for supporting black people getting their money? I can't be mad at Scotty or Rolly for getting their money. I can't be mad at, I was gonna say Gretchen, but fuck that bitch. I can't be mad at Lex for getting her money, for doing all of these things. Tasiki, Krishan, even though she's a dummy. I mean, I can't be upset at any of this, because at the end of the day, this is a door that was opened up to them and allowed them to be able to live comfortable lives. They're no longer in survival mode. They're living.
Oh my gosh!
End of the day, respectability politics does not work in the way that people wish they did. They wish that because these people aren't deemed respectable in white society, that these people just cease to exist. But they do exist, and they have to live on this earth. And I feel like, as somebody who is a part of the black community, and who advocates for the black community, and who loves my fellow black brothers and sisters, I don't give a fuck about the respectability politics. If you are in need, if you have modes and means to make money, to be able to survive, be able to take care of your family, be able to take care of anybody, including yourself, then fuck it. If you gotta go sell that puss, girl. If you gotta go be a booster, steal from these big ass corporations. Now, when you start taking from the little man, then it's like, damn, like, you're not really, you kind of fucking up, what we trying to do. But these big ass corporations, fuck them. Go sell that puss on OnlyFans. Go hit the blade. Go sell drugs, not to young children, and to pregnant women in the black community and stuff like that. But go do what you have to do to get money. I can't be mad at you for trying to live in a world that has been created for us to barely survive. And so I'm not going to placate, and I'm not going to keep acting as if respectability politics is something that I'm going to hold and harbor over the heads of our brothers and sisters, because I know the reality of the world that we're living in. A plane with snakes on it is going over my head. And my knowledge and understanding about the black existence across the United States, as well as my knowledge and understanding about the world around us, right? I have my bachelor's degree in government with an emphasis on legal studies, so I know a lot about law and politics. And so as I learn more about public policy and law and our history here in the United States, the less I feel as if we need to be playing into respectability politics. Respectability politics is the reason why community does not exist in the way that it should between the black community, because we feel as if people are lesser than us just because they live life differently than we do. I mean, for example, when we think about the people on Zeus Network, these are girls and women who literally have grown up in difficult situations, have grown up having to live paycheck to paycheck. And a way to survive, if they find out that beating bitches up is a way to survive, I'm finna beat a bitch's ass. $10,000 per fight, I'm knocking a hoe out on camera for the fun of it, because I'm making money. Society will try to tell you that it's inherently wrong to make money by being on a show, getting drunk, and fighting people, and yet people watch WWE and watch boxing and wrestling. Yeah, these girls aren't professionals. They don't, practice, and they're just people who are picked off the internet. But at the end of the day, this is an opportunity for people to take themselves out of survival mode and be able to live their lives. And I think that that's something that we do not take into account. Yeah, these girls and these women get on this television show, and men, because I did watch Bad Boys, and shout out to Gunna, shout out to Carry On, even though they try to play on his top, shout out to Chef D and Jonathan and all of them, you know what I'm saying, but in reality, like, respectability politics comes into play when you want somebody to feel less than, when you feel like somebody is beneath you. And I get it to a certain extent because I am a hater, and there is a fly on my I definitely understand respectability politics, right? Because I grew up, I don't want to necessarily, I grew up being forced into respectability politics, but when you're in the education system, they show you like who you should not associate yourselves with because they don't fall into the respectability politics, and who you should associate yourselves with. And as you grow and as you get into the workforce and as you move forward, they're going to try to push you more and more away from being in the spaces with people who look like you because they deem you as better than them, when in reality y'all are on the same boat. we all marginalized up in here. We all are a part of marginalized communities. We are all going through the same struggle and fighting for ourselves in the same world. I cannot be mad at pretty girls, at girls who like to get money, at girls who have families that they have to take care of. They've been fighting for their lives their whole lives, and now they're on a TV show where they're traveling around the world, fighting, getting drunk, kissing, and making up. I mean, in all honesty, does it seem stressful? Hell fucking yeah. But at the end of the day, they're getting money and they're going home to their families after the month of being with all the baddies, going home to their families with checks, that cash. So why would I be upset about somebody getting their money? We're living in a world where money is everything, and all of us don't have enough of it. We don't have enough money to live. We are surviving paycheck to paycheck. So I can't be mad at somebody for living their lives. White society, I would love for us to no longer have to play into respectability politics, that the world will respect us for our existence here and that we're not going anywhere. But at the end of the day, respectability politics is a part of the game that has been set for Black people to play anywhere in the world. And at the end of the day, it's like, I'm not going to force anybody to play into the confines of respectability politics, because at the end of the day, it's only a social construct. I mean, it doesn't make you a bad person to sell coochie. It don't make you a bad person to have an OnlyFans. It don't make you a bad person to go on a TV show just to fight people for $10,000 for every fight. It doesn't make you inherently a bad person. So why should I make these people feel as if they're terrible people because they're taking opportunities that were granted to them? Because they decided, you know what, I'm going to go and fight 100 bitches to be able to get on this show to fight for the rest of my life and you know, and make money and go to clubs and bookings and get drunk and not eat and starve. I mean, starve for a month, get drunk every day, fight, and then I go home to my family and I get to do whatever the fuck I want to do for the rest of my time until it's time to do it again. I mean, again, I can't be mad. Like, I can't be mad, and I'm not going to be mad watching it either. I'm enjoying it, actually. And there's so many amazing women who I have watched. Now, are some of them birds? Yes. But birds fall into the respectability politics category, because at the end of the day, I can't be mad at somebody for being bird brain. It's not your fault. It's the education system, right? And so, like, if you want to be that man's fifth baby mama, be that man's fifth baby mama. You know, if you want to fuck the man with the STDs, fuck the man with the STDs. If that's what you want for yourself, I'm not gonna be mad at you. It's your life. You live it how you want to live it. Now, where the respectability politics come in is respecting others. And if you're doing something and disrespecting others, their peace, their space, their time, their existence, then that is really when I, you know, have an issue. And I mean, you could say like, oh, but the baddies don't respect each other. They know what they signed up for. They knew that they signed up for a show where we're going to have to fight. We're going to have to beef. We're going to have to fight. We're going to have to drink. We're going to have to do all of these things. I'm going to show my coochie. I'm going to talk about my OnlyFans. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. Whatever. So again, like, they knew what they're getting into. I can't be mad about that. But in the real world, we need to respect each other. And this is why we don't have community. It's because respectability politics has taught us time and time again that these people are beneath us, so they do not deserve to be in community with us. That's simply not how community works. And that is why community has shifted into these politic games and these respectability politics games where it's, I need people who are on the same level as me or better than me so I can surpass them and then get new people around me who are better than me. In reality, it's like, you know, sometimes the crackhead on the corner is gonna be your best friend, right? Like, I'm being lighthearted about the conversation, but it's very real. Like, it does not matter how they're getting the money as long as they're doing it in a safe, fairly safe way, and that, you know, you're using it to survive and to live your life in the way that you want to live it, whether that's spending it on Birkins and buying stupid shit, or whether it's investing in a home and, you know, settling down and creating a family and supporting your family and all of these different ways. You do what you want. It's your money. You use it. JJ Wentworth said it is my money and I need it now. You know, it's JG Wentworth. Lord Jesus, JJ Wentworth. But all of that to say, I think that we need to do better as a community and not fall into the respectability politics too hard. I mean, to a certain extent, I guess you can subscribe to them if you want to. But me, I'm no longer subscribing to respectability politics. If you black, I love you no matter what you do, except those niggas who need to be in jail. I mean, R. Kelly, baby, fuck ya. Tory Lanez, fuck ya. Chris Brown, fuck ya. All of them niggas, fuck ya. But that's different. They're terrible people. You don't have to respect terrible people. But all in all, I am rambling. This is a conversation, you know, this is atomic thoughts. My thoughts just run through my head. But yeah, I think this should be good for the video. I don't want it to be too long because I do have to edit this and get this out within a couple of hours. So yes, I just want to say thank you to everybody who has been supporting me. I know that I've reached over 70 subscribers, so I just want to say thank you for that. It really means the world to me. I will continue to grow as a creator, as a writer, as a journalist, as a storyteller. So please, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please put them down in the comment section. Please subscribe if you can. It's free. And yes, thank you so much. This was Atomic Thoughts. I told you about my thoughts, and now I'd like to hear yours. Have a good one. Bye.